Alright, let's check this out real quick. I got the Tier 8 Swedish medium, the UDES 14.5. Alright, it's spelled oooods. We're calling it the oooods, because that's what it is. It's an oooods. Um, yeah, this thing's not too bad. Decent mobility, not super fast, but decent mobility. No armor whatsoever. The gun's pretty cool. The handling isn't the best, but it's not horrific. And it doesn't have the best pen, but it's not anemic. And it's got good alpha. The DPM isn't the highest, but it's not awful. I mean, everything about this thing kind of just comes together in a little package that works pretty well. But the cool thing about this thing is obviously the hydropneumatic suspension and the parts of the map that you can make use of with it. Kind of opens up a whole lot of different options in a totally different playstyle. I think it's really cool. I think some maps probably are going to need a little tweaking here and there. This might be one of them, positions that really shouldn't be all that useful, but they are now because of this kind of stuff. Like this one right here. So you wait for the hydro to kick in, and then poke over this ridge line, and I can actually shoot down. If I refine that positioning a little bit, I could use this ridge to point down at that scorpion. So we're going to do that later on. But in the meantime, this course, okay, is going to come around and dick around with us. We're going to be good buddies by the end of this match. We're going to spend a lot of time together. Interestingly enough, I'm not aware of a single time our artillery shoots this giant-ass spotted heavy tank on top of the hill the entire match, but, you know, if they were intelligent, they wouldn't playing artillery, so here we are. But, yeah, these things are pretty cool. Like I said, that hydropneumatic suspension, it's a very different mechanic. I'll show you some of the nuance to it later in the match, where it doesn't just give you straight gun depression. You can't just blast over a ridge and then expect to point your gun 15 degrees down. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to give it time to actuate. You have to manipulate the reticle, like I talked about in my STB video, to actually get the tank to do what you want it to do once you're over the ridge. Like, even if you have it activated when you come over, you still have to dick around with the tank a little bit to get it to happen. Any guesses on where that went? That's whatever. Whatever. Some nice accuracy there. But yeah, you can see here, right at the limit of that gun depression, take a blind shot. It didn't hit him. But like this kind of position right here is something that only these tanks, the Swedish high-tier mediums, would be able to use. Nothing else could really do anything with that ridge line, but these can. So it's one of those positions where they might rethink what they're doing. This thing has no armor, so if I get spotted when I come over there, the Scorpion just blasts me in the face, and that's it. But with the Tier 9, and especially the Tier 10, where they do have a little bit of armor, you can see where one of them being parked up there with no arty, or arty that doesn't give a shit, that could be a problem. So we're still dicking around with this Corsa K. Neither of us have even taken a shot at each other yet, but we're still here, hurling insults at each other and making rude gestures. There we go. It's the first shot either of us has taken at the other. Not that it's going to go anywhere, but at least we tried. So my team's not really making much progress anywhere. That TS5 is way the fuck out there on the B line by himself for no reason. And now we have a new development up on this flank. This Lynx is blasting up here. He didn't know I was here when he came up there, or he may not have. That's a reasonable expectation for a shot from the arty right there. Yay. And I'm not going to use the medkit on it. I'm just going to let it go. But he may have been hoping that I had moved off of that position. And so I expect him to come up there, see I was still there, and then say, oh fuck, dick around for a minute, and then go somewhere else. But I'm going to come up here again, assuming he's fucked off, to find that he hasn't. And now I'm going to shoot him in the face. I'm like, alright, now for sure he's going to fuck off. But he doesn't. He's coming back up that hill again, and now I'm like, why is he doing that? Ah, that's why. So if I had just gone and chased him to kill him with my reload, because obviously I could do that, I'd be dead now. So you gotta kind of like look at why somebody in a tank like that might be behaving in a manner that seems foolish or counterproductive. You can't just assume he's a retard. You have to play as if he's not a retard. If he is a retard, then you take a little bit longer to kill him. The end result's the same. But if you assume he's a retard and you go chasing him over that friggin' ridge, and you find yourself face to face with a fully loaded AMX 5100, your match is over. So, you know, a little bit of insight into how I used to be good at this game. So now we're going to come into this suspension doing some magic for me again. Now I was hoping that was going to go through his upper plate, because you know I'm shooting straight down onto it, but no such luck. I think it might actually glance down and hit the lower plate a little bit. We'll see. But I'm up here now. He's kind of stuck. He can either stare at me hiding behind that rock, or he can engage the STRV at the end of this lane that's been shooting at him. But he can't do both. There's no way for him to engage both of us and make any progress. Now this Scorpion here, fuck already. This Scorpion here, he's not really thinking about what tank he's facing. He's thinking it's going to be a gun depression versus elevation, and he's got great elevation, and no one can shoot down at that angle except I can. I absolutely can. And that's one of those things where if he had taken a minute to think about it, I'm sure he knew that this tank could do that. But because there are so few of them in the matchmaking, you don't see them that often, and you even less frequently get into 1v1 fights with them on ridges, then it's not a reflexive bit of World of Tanks knowledge that this thing can pop its ass end up in the air in order to point its gun straight down that hill and shoot you in the face. Like, it's not... If he'd thought about it, he would have known that, but he didn't. He was just reacting the way he's reacted to everything else, and it cost him. Now we're going to play with that hydro suspension a little bit more, and we're going to wait for it to activate, and you can see how the reticle definitely does not move around as quickly. It doesn't elevate up and down as quickly as it does when you're just moving the gun up and down. You have to wait for the suspension to activate and then start tilting the tank. So you have to really think about how you're going to be using it when you use it in order to make sure it's effective. Because if you just pop over a ridge thinking it's going to be like, you know, an M48 or a Kranwagen, you just pop over a ridge expecting the gun to just pop straight down to where you're looking, it's not going to work. You have to plan it. You have to plan the use of it. So you see I stop there, wait for the suspension to come up, and I'm already angling the tank down. I'm pushing the reticle down, pushing the ass end of the tank up before I even come up to the ridge. That's kind of the things you have to plan for, which I'm sure people who played a bunch of the Swedish tank destroyers already learned, but I haven't played any of them because I'm not interested in them. I figured more turretless tank destroyers that do nothing but sit in a bush. I'm not really that interested. And then our defender came around. I thought he was going to be able to kill this 15 HP Scorpion from his full HP in his Bobject, but he managed to fuck that up, so I killed the Scorpion. But killing a Scorpion here now means that this entire flank is open to us completely. We know that I know, anyway. Everybody should know, but I know that only the artillery at most is over here, because everything else is spotted. Their last known spotted positions were not that long ago. They all seem to be working pretty much together. The artillery's platoon mate is dead, and he's artillery, so I'm assuming he's not paying all that much attention in his friggin' school bus. And lo and behold, he isn't. So, get fucked. Alright. Now all the artillery's dead and everybody can have a fun game. Only took 9 minutes. So, I know that I was spotted, but I'm kind of hoping people aren't really paying that much attention to what I'm doing. They're kind of engaged in a struggle for their lives over there. Everybody left in the match except our Carnarvon. So I'm hoping they weren't really paying attention to me very much on the minimap when I killed their artillery. And so I'm hoping I'm going to be able to come up behind this Chrysler, who I would think is still there, because he's been in that same grid square for the past, like, 7 minutes. So I'm going to come up to this bush here. I circumvented the cap so I wouldn't draw attention to myself. But he's not here. Yeah, there's wood in my face. That's what she said. So I'm kind of thinking about what to do, and then opportunity strikes, so yeah, I'll just shoot him in the face. And I expect to get spotted there, but I didn't. I don't know if he was double bushed or if the camo on this thing is just that good. He wasn't close enough to spot me when I fired, but either way. But what he's doing right now tells me something. So if I just shot him in the face and there's a full HP friendly Chrysler right there, that he knows is there, that's why he was up there. He's trying to fight that Chrysler. But when I shot him in the face, he's now a one-shot for the Chrysler, but he's not running away. He dropped off the hill so I couldn't shoot him again, but he's not running away, which means the Chrysler that I can't see is moving to support him. That's the only reason he wouldn't just run away. So I knew that Chrysler was coming, I just didn't know from where. I also didn't know he'd be fucking retarded enough to be playing a Chrysler without a fire extinguisher, but he was. So now, we're just gonna clean this up at this point. It's easy picking. So I'll see which one the Chrysler kills. He kills the Scorpion. Means the Schwartz is mine. And there we go, but I want my Top Gun, so doink. And we're done. And I find gold the whole match. Nobody cares, fuck off. But yeah, that's my first ace in this thing, and just an overview of kind of how they work, and I think they work really well. I really like these things. I like the mechanic they bring to the game, and I like learning how to use it, as well as on the STB. I like learning how to use that. It's kind of new and it's refreshing. So that's actually kind of sparked my interest for this game again, which has been lacking the last couple of years. But anyway, hope somebody enjoyed that, and see you later.